Now before this video starts off, I just want to say that I am very sorry for the loud background noises. It's just that my neighbors are renovating or working on something, I don't know, and the noises are just really loud, and there was literally almost no way for me to, fully cancel them out. So I really apologize for that. But anyhow, now let's get straight into the video. Yep guys, it's that time again. Getting parts that my school doesn't need and randomly just experimenting and seeing how they perform and just similar. And this time I managed to snag quite a few interesting things. The two things, which is the case and the power supply that you see on the picture/recording, are for a completely different project, which is a very special one, which will be coming will be documented on this channel very soon. But the star of today's video are these two graphics cards. Now if you don't know what these two graphics cards are, they are Nvidia Quadro 600 graphics cards, normally used for modeling, CAD software and similar. Some people I believe even use these for mining and similar. And if you want the exact specs of these graphics cards, then they will be on the screen right about now. Now why were these graphics cards so interesting to me? And why did I even make a whole video on them? Well, it's because I never used Nvidia Quadro cards or anything alike. I never used a graphics card or even seen in real life or held a graphics card which was used for CAD software, modeling and similar things. And I was really interested to see how this card from around 10 years ago or more still performs. And so first I needed to select a motherboard/other system to pair it with. And what a better hardware/system to pair this with than with the AM3 system from my AM3/AMD Phantom 2 review video that I did. I mean, either way I had no idea how I would actually reuse this motherboard and CPU and the other components that I had, so I was like, you know what? Why not? I mean, let's go and use this, let's actually give it a nice use. I then grabbed a Wi-Fi card and slapped it on there as well. And then for a disc, because I currently didn't really have any discs on me at that time, my friend gave me one of his 500GB Toshiba 7200 RPM hard drives, which should be good enough for a simple OS like, let's say, a lightweight Linux or Windows 7. Speaking of an OS, I didn't really know which OS I should put on, but then I came to the conclusion that I would put or Linux Mint or Windows 7. And in the end I found, you know what, let's put Windows 7, why not? I mean, I already put Linux Mint on the AM3 system in the last video, so why not switch things up a bit and put Windows 7 on this? And so after I got everything together, connected it nicely and set it up, I turned on the PC and it worked. It was amazing to see this PC work because of the fact that I was really scared that because of how old these graphics cards are, that they simply wouldn't work. Now yes, don't worry, I did fully clean out and then repaste these graphics cards. I didn't forget about that, don't worry. But anyhow, the process of downloading Windows 7 was nothing too special. I had one hiccup, and I mean, it wasn't exactly a small hiccup, it was actually quite a big one. And that was that because of the weird way that I had set my disk, it fell off and disconnected mid download. And then I was really scared because Windows didn't want to load, and then when I tried to re-download it, it didn't want to work. But after like God knows how long of ickering and biffering around, I found out that the fix was so simple that I just needed to move the bootable USB to another USB slot, and then the SATA cable to another SATA slot, and then just pull out the power connector for the disk and put it back in. That was all I needed to do, and the disk started to work again just like normal, which was a huge relief because I really thought that this project was gonna be ruined if this disk was, well, ruined. But anyhow, now that everything was well and done, downloading Windows was quite easy, and in the end I managed to download Windows, and after everything I decided to start testing it out. The first thing I tested it out was just general use, poking around the OS and just overall just doing some random things around in the OS, setting it up and stuff like that, the first thing I decided to do was try and set this up, you know, just try and personalize it and set it up as much as I can. And of course, this ran it with almost no issue, and I didn't really see any big issues. Secondly, I decided to just poke around with the OS a little bit more, see if this would put a little bit more strain on the components, but no, this still pulled on like a champ. And then I decided to try some software, and this is where things started to collapse. You see, this graphics card is so old, and the OS in general that we're running on it is so old, that almost every single modern day app that I tried on it just wouldn't work. There were a few specific games / apps that did work, but they also just half worked. It wasn't like fully working or anything similar. And now I decided to put a little bit more stress on this card by running multiple different tasks and multiple different windows and similar things at the same time. And well, yeah, also known as multitasking. And well, yeah, this is where it started to fall apart. The entire OS quickly started to lag and bog down. It's not like it wasn't unusable, but it's just that it started to really bog down and lag quite a lot. I don't know, maybe it was a RAM issue. Heck, maybe it was because of the graphics card being so old and having such little VRAM. Who knows? But all that I know is that for huge multitasking purposes, or running many different tasks and programs and similar on the go at once, yeah, no, this didn't really hold up that well. And now that we've experimented around with this card and seen how it looks and works and everything similar, what are my reviews on this card? What do I think of this graphics card? And what are my first thoughts on this? I mean, this is my first time using it, so, I mean, what are my thoughts for the first time of me using this graphics card? Well, I mean, this graphics card of course is not perfect. It has many flaws to it, like somewhat wacky and broken drivers, many unsupported apps and programs and similar, and overall just not being very powerful in general. It is good when you have a very lightweight OS and you're doing some very lightweight tasks on it, but for almost everything else, it's or somewhat good or it just falls apart quite fast. But I mean, what were we really expecting from a graphics card like this? I mean, this graphics card is more than 12 to 13 years old. And it's just insane that it's still keeping up like this to this day. And so keeping that in mind and combining it with all of my other thoughts and everything I've said so far, my final rating of this card is around a 5 out of 10. Not horrible, not unusable, but certainly not good or amazing in any way.